This is Eduardo Jumbo. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a Blender VSE text strip using Python. So this is going to be a scripting tutorial. So what you will need is obviously you need Blender and you need Python installed. I don't think you can actually install Blender without Python. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, so you need Python installed as well. So a little background for this tutorial is that I do all my video editing using Blender. The reason for that is because even way back when my computer was very low powered, low memory, what I found was Blender was the only one where when I did video editing where it didn't crash. And obviously it's a little unwieldy, but I just like the fact that it didn't crash. And obviously, although my workstation is able to handle practically any type of video editor, I still prefer Blender because it's still, it's simple. That's my video editing. Anyways, so when you do a bunch of things like I do use the text strips, so I was trying to find a way where I can script it so it's easy. For example, the title for this tutorial is called Generate. Where's my mouse here? It's called Generate Blender VSE Text Strip using Python script. So if I wanted this text to be overlaid as a strip in the Blender video sequence editor, I would have to manually do it. It's not a problem, but I'm saying is that if I could start scripting it, it would make my videos a little bit better because I'd spend time just on editing, maybe adding things and just on the content itself. So quick overview of Blender. Blender is cross-platform. It's for Mac OS, including POS systems. That's including obviously Linux, Unix types and BSDs, etc., and Windows and Linux. It's written in C++ and Python. The one we care about is really the Python part here because we're going to use the Blender Python API to create a custom strip that generates text stripped for the VSE. The VSE is a video sequence editor. In case you didn't know Blender, you can actually edit videos. I've edited videos which are about up to 2 hours on Blender with no issues. So basically, if you don't know what an API stands for, I have a glossary here. That's an application programming interface. It sets of rules and protocols to enable software applications to communicate with each other, exchange data, features, and functionality. And so the UI, that's just the GUI. So we technically don't actually need the GUI, but it'll be good for to view the output. Okay, so what you do need to know is you need to know about the workspaces, the Blender areas and editors. Don't worry about that. I'll explain all that visually. So if you want the glossary, it's here. You can read it up. So what you need more is you need some type of text editor. We can also use the one built into Blender, but I give an example here, Apache NetBeans IDE. You can also use, obviously, just a command line text editor. You can use Guinea, which I also did a review of recently. And obviously, if you're doing this on a command line, maybe you're doing it on a Blender farm, you need something like maybe SSH and shell access. That just means the terminal. Okay, so this is not an overview of the scripting part of Blender. I'm talking about the scripting view or workspace, but I'll show that to you. So basically, it has all these things. It's a text editor, syntax hiding, auto completion, smart indent, find and replace, and you can also run the scripts there. So the script we're going to use, I created a little snippet here. You can just copy that and put it wherever you want. So as you can see here with the screenshot, when you load up Blender, there's usually a default cube. So in the script, you'll also be able to remove the default cube, as you can see here, and also the cameras and all that because we don't need them. And then obviously this is the scripting workspace. So you can type in your script here. And of course, this will basically be the outcome. What we want is we just want to see what it says on jumbo.com. That's what we want to create. So I'll show you how to do it manually and then how to do it with the script. Okay, so this is the video as you're watching now. It's live. Just a quick reminder that every day I do have a live stream. You simply go to jumbo.com, you go to the watch menu, then live sub menu, then you can see the current live stream or the channel it's going to be on, and then the approximate date and time, and then you see the ones which will come in the future, and the channel and the approximate dates and times. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Okay, so I do, obviously Blender is open source and so is Python, and you can read about more about the licenses here in this article. So with that said, now let's head over to, I'm going to load up Blender, and then I will explain things in Blender. Then we'll also use, I guess we could use, I'm not sure which one to use, but I think I'll just use a text editor. But we can, I'll do part of it in the text editor and then part of it in Blender as well. Okay, so let's here, and I'm gonna load up Blender here. Blender. Okay, it's gonna come up here. I also have a folder. Okay, I'm up on the wrong screen. So I'm using Blender 4.4.1, but this will work with any version of Blender. I think at least from the 3 series, this should also work. Okay, so as you notice up here, with Blender, you have obviously the file menu. We don't care about that for now. And then you see this is the default when things loads up. So you see there's the default cube, and this is a camera here, and this is the default cube. And you can see at the end the collection. You see there's a camera, there's a cube, and there's a light. So we don't need any of these. So obviously to do it manually, you go delete them here. And then what we want is you see you click this plus sign here, video editing, and we want the video editing workspace, which comes up here. You see there's a file manager here, and then we have the preview, and then this is where you add all your strips and everything. So just to let you know what we're going to do today, I'm creating a folder right now, and I'm going to also, I'm just going to grab this image we're going to be using as a backdrop. I'll put it here. So you see here is so we can simply just drag and drop it here, or we can also use we can use this to navigate to the photo we want. So that will be under tutorial. I think I created one called Blender. Yeah, Blender here. You see it's the same here. So we can just drag it from here. So basically what I want to do is just grab it, put it on the first line here. The image doesn't really matter. And obviously if you want to stretch it, you can do that. And then what I want to do is I want to add text. So usually you go to add here, then text, and you see there's a text added here. So I'll change this, say ojambo.com. You see the font is a little bit small, so what I have to do is size here, make the font a little bit bigger. Yeah, something like that is good. And then you obviously you can change the color if you want. You can add an outline, you can add a shadow or another box. And you see the box, you can also with the box here, expand this, and you can see you can change the margin. You see the margin right now is kind of a little bit small, so I can make the margin too big. Make it a little bit bigger, something like that. And then the roundness, we can make it more round or less, that's up to you. And then that's basically what I want to do, just something simple. This is basically what we're going to do. Now we can do this, as I said, in Python. So to do it in Python, you go to the scripting workspace here, and you can type thing in here. For example, you just click on new, and then you can start typing. Then fortunately, you see here, I can zoom in. Okay, maybe we'll just do it in the scripting tab here. So when I clicked new, so let me see if I want to save this file. This one is to new, copy. Oh, here. Oh, how do I save this? Oh, here it goes. Under text, save as, and I'll save it in the same folder as our blend file tutorial, Blender, and I'm gonna call this. Let's see, what should I call this? I'll just call it video. So I say video dot py. So it's saved it there. The first thing you always do is you import. Oh, it is color coded. That's pretty nice. Blender, the Blender Python, and then that's basically all we need here. So if I want to remove, you see this default cube and the camera and the light. So what we do there is very simple. I'll just create a comment here. Say remove default object. Okay, then what I do here is I just say objects, create a variable to hold them all, and then I say Blender, a Python data.objects. So I'll grab all of them, and then I just make a for loop in objs. And you see what happened when I pressed enter, it automatically indented. So I do like this. This actually improved a lot from the earlier version. So I say remove ob. Hey, hello. Okay, I just applied to the chat. Obj do unlink equals true. So that's going to remove all these objects. So for example, if I run this right now, you see it removed the camera, it removed the cube, and the light. So it removed all of those. So what I'm going to do next is I want to generate the VSE strip. So let's put a comment here, generate VSE, text strip. I also wanted to set the default workspace to the VSE, but for some reason I'm not able to do that. I don't know if it's a bug, but yeah, I'm not able to select that. I think it's because you see here, even though there's a video editing a workspace, I think it's actually not a workspace because it doesn't actually show up. So I'm not able. I can actually go to any of these other ones except for the video editing. So I think it's just a bug, but so that's why I'm not gonna put it in here. Okay, anyway, so I'll just create a text object here to hold it. So it's gonna be, a text strip. Yes, text strip object. So that's gonna be Blender Python context dot scene dot sequence editor dot sequences dot new effect. Yes, it is an effect. Okay, then when we go inside here, we'll give it a name. I'm going to call it first text strip. And then here, the type, it's obviously text. This has to be caps. And the channel, I want it on the second channel, as you saw, because I don't want it on the first channel. The first channel will be just a regular image. Then the frame start, I'll start it at 1, and the frame end equals 60. Okay, so this will create our text strip, but it will be hard to see this text strip because it will have the default text, which is this text. So let's change that. So what we'll do is we set the text, say to jumbo.com .color. Now Blender doesn't take the regular, for example, hex codes or the RGB. Usually does everything in radians. So you have to, for example, if I want white, instead of typing, is it 255? Was it 1? No, yeah, 255, 255, 255. You have to put 1. So this is white. And then, so this will be the RGB. And then the last part will be the alpha, which is 1. That means it's going to be 100% opaque. Okay, then we also want to change the font size. I'll make it 120. You can also change the font, but I'm just, so what I do want is I do want to use the box. So I have to say use box, set it to true, and then what else? Oh yeah, the box color. So box color, so 0.2, again it's in radians, 0.2, and I'll give it a little alpha of 0.45, it's up 45%. And then the margin, box margin equals 0.02, and then I'll give it the roundness as well. Set that to 0.29. Okay. Now, as I said, you probably won't be able to see this because of the alpha and everything. You need something below it, so you can add a video. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bonus VSE image strip. Okay, so what I'll do here is basically just to hold the image. So what I'll do is similar to before. So it's a context dot scene dot sequence editor dot sequences dot new image. Now to save some time, we're going to copy this stuff from here because it's going to be very similar, except it's not. We're going to call this image strip, and the type actually doesn't have a type, but instead of a type it does have a file path. So we change that to file path, and then I'll give you a little hint for Blender. If you put 2 dashes or 2 slashes, what that means that will take relative to where the Blender file is. So for example, here I'm going to make the Blender file here. So what it's going to do is it's going to take this, it's going to take it from this folder because it's relative to where it is. So basically, you see the video.py file is here. So relative to it will be obviously this file. That's why the slash is there. So if you remember, our image is tux underscore, it's a WebP file. Yes, Blender can load a WebP file. I think it can't it can't in the VSE. I tried AVF files, that didn't work. So, but WebP do work. Okay, so the channel, obviously you want the same channel as the other one. I mean, if you do, but I want it just underneath it. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna start the channel at channel 1, the bottom one. The frame start at 1, and there is no frame end. The reason there's no frame end is because the image is restricted to some type of frames. I don't know how many there are, so you can't do it that way. Instead, what you have to do is, if you want to extend it, you have to use frame final duration, and I set it to 59. And you'll see, I think I might have to set it to, I think it's actually, this should actually be 60, but we'll see. So we'll set it to 59 and you'll see what that will look like. Okay, then, so if I go here and make sure I save this, if I run this, this should have what we want. So if I go to run here, it says text on line 9. Okay, something wrong with the line 9. Let me see what I did on line 9. Oh man, it's hard to. You know what? I'm going to put this in. I'm going to run this in a text editor because it's really hard to. This space is a little bit limited. So what I'll do is, I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'll just open up in a regular text editor, so you can see it. Actually, you know what? I think I'll. Let me see. I think I'll open up in. Not sure which one to do. Yeah, I'll open up in the text editor. It's fine. Okay, so here it is. I'll zoom in. There we go. So it said something was wrong with line 9. So, oh yeah, I see I spelled this wrong. This should be context. That should be context. Spelled that wrong. Okay, so let's go back here. So this should be an X. Let's run that. And okay, there was no error. I think there was no error. Run script, yeah, so there was no error. Okay, so as it did remove the default stuff. So if we go to the video editing, you see it added another one on top of the one I just did. So it did work. Now, if you notice, another thing I want to do is when we go back to the layout here, if we go to the render settings, you see, the output settings, you see it's 920 by 20, that's fine, but you see it's set to PNG and what else? It's set to PNG. So we want to set this to video, so we can also do that. I'll show you how to do that. So let's go back. I'll go to the video editing first, and I'll delete everything here. So here, we know this works now, so this is great. Now let's do the, oops, wrong place. Down here. Now we're going to work on the, where are we here? Now we're going to work on the render settings. Okay, so where are the render settings? Okay, so for the render settings, bpy.context.scene.render.resolution x 220, and I'll just copy this because obviously you can get the Y. And we want that to be 1080. And then next, I'll just copy the same thing again. It's resolution percentage. So obviously that will be set to 100. Okay. And this part I'll just copy. So render.fps. You see the default is set to, if you want to check the default, we simply just click on here, and you see the default FPS is set to 24, so we can change that to 30. Next is the file path. So the file path, we set that to, you see the default file path is set to the /temp folder. But I want it relative again to where this Python file or the Blender file will be. So that will be set to, remember, / video, not / yeah, / yes, file. Okay. Next we'll do the image settings. Right now, remember, it's set to what is it set? It's set to, you see the file format is set PNG. See, there's other options here. You see, there's we want FFmpeg. So we say image settings dot file format, and we set that to FFmpeg. Next, everything now is going to have FFmpeg. So I'll just copy this part here. Oops. Copy. Oh, come on. Copy, okay. Dot format, and we want MPEG 4. And then the codec we want to use is H.264, and the audio codec, set that to AAC, and then the audio channels. I think channel has two ends. Channels equals stereo, and then the constant rate factor, set that to medium. You can change this, and I'll show you those ones in a second. And then the FFF MPEG preset, set it to real time. Okay, so for example here, if I change this to FFmpeg, you can see then I can go to encoding, and you see it's Matoska, the container, so that's why I changed it to MPEG 4. So you see that one, it's MPEG 4 is the first one, and then you see the codec is H.264, that's fine, and then the medium quality, that will be from here. And then down here in the audio, see right now there's no audio codec, but pick one is, so for example, AAC and etc. etc. And you see here, this quality output, the medium quality, that's this one here, and the encoding speed, that's the preset, so that you have good, slowest, and real time, and then medium quality, you have all this high quality, very low quality, etc. So you have all those as well. So you can set them here. Now I'm going to go back and set this to the default, which was PNG, was it? PNG here. So if I run this, it will change this as well. And so let's run this. Actually, let me make sure the video is done. So here I'll save this first. Go to text, was it? Text, and then hit save. Now if I'm going to run this, so it ran, and you see change to FFmpeg here, MPEG MP4, H.264, you see medium quality, real time, AAC stereo, and the, what else was there? So all those things which I talked about, it's all set. And if we go back to our video editing, you see it put it back in here, but it wasn't able to find my file. Did I spell that wrong? And it wasn't able to find this file, but that's fine. I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to actually, I'm going to save it in the, I'm going to save a blend file. So this way I don't need to blend file. So be epy.ops.windowmanager.save as main file path equals video.blend. Okay, make sure you save this text, save. So if you want to know about all these settings, and I'll show you a trick. What you do is you go to, you pick any area here. Actually, I can even pick this one, but I'm gonna pick I'll pick this one here, or this one here. Actually, no, I'll pick this one here. So I change this. You see there's info. I'll change it to info. So info, you see everything I do, you see everything I've just done, it will actually output here in info. So for example here, if I change this back from FFmpeg video to, let's say, PNG, watch what happens. You see it tells us here, it says bpy.context scene render image settings file format PNG. So that's how I was able to do this part here, where I set it to FFmpeg. You see this one here? Make this one. Yeah, so this part you see, this is how I was able to set that based on this. So for example, if I switch to if I switch to this, go back to scripting, we would have it. It actually doesn't have it because it didn't split it, but that's another way. Like everything you do, you will be able to you'll be able to set created here. You'll be able to change everything here and create your own. You'll be able to find. So, for example, here's another one. If I go to, I mean, if I change anything here, it will also, for example, this video, let's say I didn't like this and I want to change this to maybe, I'll call this video output. I put enter. You see here it says BPY context scene render file path. Then you put the thing here. So all you do is just copy this, and then you can paste it into your blend, the scripting file or the blend file. So I'm going to exit this. I'm not going to save anything. Now you see here in this folder I have my Python file. So what I can do is I can actually run that Python file. Just go to I go to the command here, and what I do is I type blender -b, that means the background, then -p has to be a capital P, the Python file. So the Python file is going to be video.py. So if I hit enter, so you see what it did? It ran Blender in the background on the command line, and it actually created a file called video.blend. Now you see this video.blend file. This should have both this file and the text. So let's click on that, and you see Blender is opening up here. You see there's no default cube, the camera and the light. You see they're actually here, they're done. And if we actually go to our output here, you see it's 1920 by 1080, and it has our video file. That's correct. Remember the default was /temp. And then we go down to encoding. You see, before that, see the file format is set to FFmpeg. We go to encoding, it's MP4, H.264, medium quality, real time, and the audio codec is AAC, and it's set to stereo. See, there's different ones. There's stereo, there's 4 channels, etc. All right, and then if we go to the scripting, we go to the video editing tab, and we pick video editing. The workspace. You see what it did here? It actually put our jumbo.com here, and you see in the back on our first line here, it actually put the background image, so we'll be able to see what jumbo.com. So this is just a bonus. We don't actually need it. I just wanted to be able to see this. So what you might not notice is if you look closely here, if I mute this, where's mute? If I mute this, and do that, I only want to mute this one. Yeah, mute stream. So you see, there was a little, because of that box, there's a little transparency in that box, and you're able to see it. So if I unmute this, unmute strip, you can see it's right here. You see where the eyes begin, and right on the stomach here, you can see these those settings which I created for the box. So you can, for example, if this is the text strip, and you look at the name, it's called fast text strip, and the image one is called first image strip. And you can see there, right bang on, both the length of each is 59 frames. That is because it starts at 1. So basically it should go to, if we go to the time here, see it's 60, it starts at 1 and goes to 60. So it's 60 frames. So 59 is the duration. That's why I had set this one to 59. So it's both it's 60 frames. So basically what this means is 2 seconds, because if you remember in the settings, I set it to 30 frames per second. So this will run for 2 seconds. Okay, so another thing you can do is, if you see the text strips here, see the jumbo.com, that's the text here. You can set all these settings here, the wrap. You can set the font. You can do the size. You can do the color. Obviously more, you can do shadow. You see the box here is highlighted because you see the margin. I set it to 0.2. Roundness was 0.29. And I think that's all I did for that. You can crop, you can do all these things. So let's say you wanted to change the font. So you don't know how to do that. So what you do is, remember, you just click on any of this boxes here, and the layout editors. These are the layout editors. And for example, I want the info. I type info here, and then when I go to the stripped properties here and I choose the font, right now it's set to open a bit. That's Open Sans. Let's say I want to use a different font, and I'm going to use, let's say I want to use this Adwada font. So I want to pick, say this one, Adwada Mono Bold, right? So I click on that, and look what happens here. You see, it tells us that to use the font, you use bpy.ops.font, open, and then the file path to wherever the font will be, and then whatever you chose, and then you could literally just copy this, and you look, it did change here. You see how that's that Adwada font. So if I wanted that, I can just copy that and put it into my script file. So the reason it's doing this is relative to where the blend file is. So you have to do it manually like that, and you'll be fine. Now, obviously, another option would be to simply put this font, a copy of that font, into the relative path here. Then remember, you can just do // That's another option for you. And also, then after that, what you can do is you can go to File, and I believe there's a part here where you can bake the, I think that's in the settings, or is it here? There's a settings, where you can actually bake all the assets. I can't remember where it is. It's one of these things, but you can look in that. You can do that in a future tutorial, where you can bake all the assets, so that way you don't have to remember all the relative paths to where everything is. So that's how, so that's the scripting part of this tutorial. Done. As you saw, I am able to do this. So obviously you can add more, you can even add videos and all those things. So maybe we'll do that in a future tutorial. I would like to have this be automated. So for example, when I create a YouTube short or a short video for different platforms or channels, that could be 100% automated, because all I do is just shorten the video. So I'm saying is that something like that could be easily be automated. Okay, so let's finish up here with our Blender. Okay, then let's go back to the article here. So a quick reminder that every day I do have a live stream. You simply visit ojambo.com. You go to the watch menu, then the live sub menu. You can see the current live stream and the channel and the approximate date and time. And that's also for all the others. And be sure to subscribe, like, follow, leave comments for more frequent content. If you do enjoy this, please consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses on ojamboshop.com. You can buy my programming books on Amazon. Search for ojambo. Links in the description. You can hire me for aerial programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. You can become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. The donate button is right here in the header. It's a fixed header. You see, it doesn't move. There's an icon here. That's for your convenience. Okay, so I think I'll end here, and I'll see you